The team, Unlimited Divine Starbeing, we are here to connect with you through the energy of these words. Words carry the energy of meaning, filtered uniquely through your beliefs and your programming. We find your words extremely limiting in offering you a greater awareness of your true multidimensional existence. You do not have the words to illustrate many of the concepts and truths available to you as a divine, multidimensional star being in human form. However, since this is a tool available to you that carries our energy, we use it to invite you to continually expand. When we say you are beings of light, we realize you have heard this concept many times, and yet it may still feel somewhat abstract to you. It is, nevertheless, the truth. As we have explained before, every cell, as well as your DNA, emits biophotons of light. Imagine your skin as natural solar panels, and the energies and frequencies emitted by the sun, moon, and stars continuously recharge your vitality. The electromagnetic emissions of your cells can now be measured by your modern instruments. We know you perceive yourself as a solid, dense physical form. That is precisely the point of this experience, to recognize you have a physical body while being a star being. You are the essence of light energy vibrating at a low frequency, which gives you the sensation of being solid. Your true existential state is that of a being of light energy. Yet, while you are focused on the physical aspect, you constantly offer your personal energetic imprint to everyone you meet. Remember, your personal energetic imprint is influenced by what you have experienced, what you have been taught, what you have been led to believe, as well as your emotional state. When you realize you are more than your physical form, consider the possibility that you are a true member of the galactic family and a starseed being. When you begin to accept this possibility and understand who you truly are, you start to expand into your starseed presence. When you consciously and intentionally begin to release limiting beliefs and patterns you have acquired, when you clear out your emotional baggage, when you stop repeating your unconstructive stories, you begin to rise into the higher dimensions. As you refine your energetic imprint, vibrating at a higher, purer form of the light spectrum, you begin to own and express yourself as a being of bioluminescence, a being of light, a true starseed being. As your frequencies and vibrations rise, the other dimensions become more accessible to your awareness. Surely this is the goal, is it not? Your planet is in constant motion, shifting toward higher dimensions. You are an active part of this process, as you anchor increasingly conscious light vibrations within the very cells of your physical form. You are a powerful being in manifestation. Your thoughts, your words, and your emotional focus influence the quantum field. You interact with this energy field in every single moment. You are tuned to and resonate with this unified field. Therefore, when you begin to expand your light quotient and hold your focused intentions from a higher level of consciousness, you begin to interact with the fourth and fifth dimensions of light consciousness as a true divine star being. You are here to anchor your starseed awareness into this reality. When you shift your focused attention away from the limitations imposed by the third dimension, you begin to remember and open up to your extraordinary abilities and gifts. Every situation and every perceived problem occurring on your planet can be, and will be, resolved with solutions generated from the higher realms of truth. Throughout your history, there have been individuals who have tapped into these higher realms and created music that continues to inspire, art that continues to evoke emotion, and inventions that have changed the course of your history. So it is about becoming aware that you too possess the ability to access these higher states of consciousness, understanding that there will be a flow of inspiration and solutions that will be, so to speak, downloaded. Play with this possibility. Let your imagination travel to a place where answers will be revealed. Trust the process. Practice and let it manifest. When you allow yourself to step out of your limited, perceived reality, you open the doors to unlimited and extraordinary abilities and possibilities. When you can recognize yourself as a powerful creator of your reality, you can begin to make the necessary attitude shifts that will transform the very reality you are experiencing. We invite you to dare. We invite you to awaken to your power to make a difference in your personal life and in world events. You are invited to embrace this truth. Remember, your focused intention will manifest. So begin to accept yourself as a divine co-creator of this reality. Elevate and evolve your thinking, Release all limiting beliefs. Allow yourself to play with possibilities. Imagine you are unlimited. As an unlimited, divine star being, what would you create? Your focused intention influences your reality. Imagine that your focused intentions are capable of altering the very molecular structure of matter. It is the highly coherent frequencies of your light awareness that give this focus its transformative power. It is this personal awakening happening in the hearts and minds of humanity that is transforming this planet. Understand that the energy of thought can and must alter the reality it focuses upon. This happens when you begin to reach the frequencies of the higher dimensions and allow yourself to receive and download solutions to current situations, actively bringing greater light awareness into the whole. We are honored to remind you of your true creative power, your true connection to the stars. We celebrate your starseed awareness. We celebrate your entry into this truth, with deep gratitude for your personal work and the service you continue to offer humanity from your divine presence in synergy with your physical focus. We are always available to you. The team. The energies of May 2026, dearest ones, we are entering one of the most significant energetic passages of the year. A portal introduced by a powerful Scorpio full moon, the Aries stellium, the 5/5 gateway, and a cosmic call to all souls descending from Alphecca, as the Scorpio moon opens a door to it, along with a square between Jupiter in Cancer and Mars in Aries, and other major events illuminating May. All of this reflects the overwhelming feeling that many of us sometimes experience when we step onto the field and witness what is happening beyond our personal path, because we feel everything, even as we continue to choose to remain in divine love. May will be a month to rebalance our deepest emotions, to become more grounded and heart-centered. The Scorpio portal leads us to the light, after walking among our shadows, to our new ascended self and our new dimensional home. This is a week to find harmony and peace between the self and the all, between our emotions, thoughts, wounds, and our divine consciousness, between ourselves and our relationships, and between our sense of duty to the all and our personal need to rest and regenerate. It is an intense emotional period that invites us to ground ourselves, for the moon, designed to precisely influence our emotional/feminine body and the waters of the earth, together with Scorpio energies, will show us everything we need to release emotionally, because all remaining emotional wounds will surface so we can embrace them, dissolving them in God's light, so they may be transformed into love. My guides emphasize how important it is for ascending souls to focus on multidimensional astrology, to perceive events and learn to read them from a broader perspective, not just the human one, to see everything that might affect us. My guides note currently the alignment between the Scorpio moon in conjunction with Alphecca, the brightest star in the constellation of the Northern Crown. As you are all receiving the crown, as you restore mind and heart, crown and remember who you are, transforming fear into power and wisdom. It is a civilization/a beginning that emanates beauty and harmony, something we cannot embody until we have healed our lower emotions, chakras, and everything we are leaving behind as we transcend all pain and connect to more enlightened realms, where joy and gratitude reign. When we have finally transcended the wounds of our 3D self, we will move toward our heart, which is also what this star represents, the heart initiation that many of you are now experiencing, moving toward universal love, transcending fear and the constant emotional sabotage we are subjected to on this planet. This will greatly help us emotionally, to help those who are harmonic channels awaken to their mission, for, like Venus and the Pleiades, since this civilization is similar in nature, they will create a signal, a wake-up call, for those who hold this lineage, for it is time for more harmonic channels to awaken to their divine assignment to help keep the earth in balance at a time of deep polarization. As we awaken to our mission when we are called, and everything is more than prepared for us. This first week of May is a profound time to welcome and adapt to change, to the transformation that occurs when we purify our emotions and prepare to embark on a new path. It is not about suppressing, but releasing, giving vent to all unexpressed pain and emotions, emptying ourselves completely in order to reintegrate all the benevolence and blessings awaiting us when we finally choose to live with an open heart. During this first week of May, a neutral attitude is essential to recognize the lower emotions, feminine anomalies, and everything that remains painful within us. Another important energy will be the square between Jupiter in Cancer and Mars in Aries on May 4th. Both energies may seem opposite, but they simply represent, at a macroscopic level, what we are observing and perceiving at a microscopic level, where everything invites us to observe, to choose the frequency that resonates with us, and to move toward a harmonious state of being, if we do not wish to remain trapped in the opposite frequency. It reminds us of the importance of resilience and dedication to overcome impulsivity, for everything we do in the grip of impulsivity harms our body and our life, as it does not come from a space of unity and inner peace. That is why it is so important not to let ourselves be governed by emotions, but to observe them from a higher perspective to control our impulses and lower emotions. All these planetary events can intensify everything we are experiencing and feeling right now. However, everything depends on how we channel these energies and our feelings. We can empower them, transcend them, and keep only the teachings, moving forward with all the wisdom gained, or we can remain in pain, with a fragmented soul, because everything is a choice, and in our own time, we all return home. On May 5th, we have the 5/5 gateway, along with an exact square between Mercury, already in Taurus, and Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto wishes to reveal what will strengthen us, while Mercury in Taurus continues to push us to remain anchored in what is fixed and linear. As my guides always remind me, the mind is the first thing that must be reprogrammed if we wish to embody higher truths. Our human mind is in continuous transformation on our path to becoming who we truly are. We may feel tension between what we deeply know in our hearts to be authentic and what our mind pushes us to do, as the mind follows logic, what is tangible, and what is rigid. It is important to focus on changing our thoughts, to avoid falling into rumination and the need for control, because we are learning to live in a new space where flowing is essential to face the unknown. The following day, we will have Pluto retrograde which, although it is another illusion from our plane of existence, can have a collective impact as it is an illusion fueled by Earth since the beginning of time, that of retrograde periods. Therefore, retrograde periods can feel very real for many who still believe in this reality. This is another cosmic message inviting us to take care of our energy, intention, and attention, remembering that where we place our attention, there we place our consciousness, and that will expand what we are focusing on. For this reason, it is essential to learn to focus on what nourishes us and make it grow. We close the first week of May with another exact opposition between Lilith in Sagittarius and Venus in Gemini. This invites us to create harmonious and balanced relationships between two equals, not between dependent beings who are not yet whole and healed. It asks us to free our souls from attachment to others, so we can reunite with souls who are now also sovereign, co-creating from a space of equality and love. During the month of May, especially with all the Aries energy at the beginning of the week, it is essential to channel our emotions into concreteness, into action, not into impulsivity. Otherwise, the deep energetic transmissions we are now embodying will collapse our nervous system, fascia, and brain complex, preventing us from finding balance and stability on our new path. I wish you a May full of love and wonder, dearest ones. Within infinite love, Natalia, Alba, Life Tapestry Creations, your GPS, dear ones. Even if you have not yet completed your inner inventory, it is time to move from 3D logic to your new being and your new inner voice. Of course, some of you will argue that your new operating system is too difficult, cumbersome, or inefficient. Initially, that may be true, but once you activate the operating system, your answers and direction will soon become evident. Switching to the new system is not that difficult. The hard part is trusting your intuition more than logic or old 3D problem-solving methods. So take time to ask yourself if you are moving in a direction that feels right for your inner being. If the answer is yes, or if other indicators suggest it, listen and respond appropriately, knowing that initially your voice might feel too easy or abstract for the problem. Both of these things indicate that your logic is not part of the solution, because if the solution seemed logical, you would not feel uncomfortable. Also keep in mind that you may not believe the first answers you receive from your inner voice, as the messages might seem too simple or just plain wrong. It is time to trust yourself, and especially your inner voice. Initially, this feeling will be very similar to the first time you used a GPS navigator. Even though the GPS was accurate, you probably compared the directions to a road map to be sure you would arrive at the right place in time. Throw away your paper maps or your three-dimensional logic because your inner voice is not contaminated by social obligations or impositions. It is your personal guide to yourself and your new direction. You may be wondering what the best way is to access your inner voice. You simply need to ask your inner voice the question and follow the answer. Initially, your questions might only require a yes or no answer. Should I keep this job? Will I have enough money to pay the rent this month? But as you become familiar with the process of finding answers within yourself, you will discover more complex questions and even more direct answers. All of you reading this material have the ability to receive information from sources outside your world. But you must find your inner voice before attempting to interact, channel, explore, or whatever term you wish to use to receive information from those outside of Earth. Receiving information from the universes is a step beyond what we from the universes will have you practice in the coming days. What does your inner being suggest to you? After you have accepted your inner voice, we will teach you how to interact with those beyond Earth. You are probably wondering why you must delay the gratification of channeling, or whatever term you use to interact with beings beyond Earth. This is because it is more important that you trust your inner being than that you interact with other beings beyond Earth. If you depend on information from beyond Earth instead of your inner voice, you will repeat what you have experienced for eons on Earth. Others telling you what to do and when to do it. You are an important element of Earth and the universes. Your inner voice is as wise as any universal being, and this is especially true regarding your direction and well-being. You no longer need to listen to or depend on others before making a decision. This is your new freedom. For eons, you have believed and accepted that those beyond Earth, in whatever form you chose to believe they existed, were wiser and more capable than you. It is time to set aside these childish thoughts, for you are a new adult universal being, equipped with the wisdom necessary to direct your life in the best possible way. Beings from other universes may have a plan or direction not aligned with yours, or their direction might lead you away from your path. Listening to the wisdom of others is often wonderfully enlightening. But always remember that you possess the same guidance abilities you once relied upon. Not only are you fully capable of acting independently, but the information transmitted by those living on Earth or in the universes is merely a suggestion you are not obligated to follow if it does not feel right. And the only way to know how you feel is to take the time to listen within yourself, requesting information, answers, guidance, and ideas. Only you can provide the information that will lead you to your new direction, because others' inner voices are more attuned to their needs, not yours. In doing so, you will be freed not only from three-dimensional voices, but also from universal voices. It is time for you to depend on yourself, and so you will. So be it. Amen. The Lightworker imperative, the fundamental purpose of life, is to raise one's frequency of consciousness through learning experience. Sometimes, a person takes many incarnations exploring the paths of selfishness only to discover what goes around comes around. These people might live in a world where they believe they must do to others what they would have done to them, before they even have a chance to do it to them first. The resulting karma serves as a lesson in what it means to be both a victim and a selfish aggressor. Both roles, played out in life's many facets, prove to be formative experiences that allow us to understand the true nature of reality and how it works. All of us, at some point, after trying every alternative to find happiness at the solar plexus level, discover there is a way out of the infinite cycle of self-imposed limitations. By opening the heart center, we discover a new, broader perspective on reality. Before, living in a world full of competitors, we might have even considered noble feelings to be the domain of the weak. Now, we understand that the frequency of heart consciousness includes everything we have learned so far, and additionally, makes us appreciate the beauty of life. By helping others, especially those suffering from self-induced catastrophes caused by solar plexus issues, we finally discover that sense of joy that eluded us in all our previous searches for material happiness. There are millions of lightworkers on the planet, souls who have evolved enough to live in more advanced realms than ours. Being an active spiritual seeker is a typical characteristic of a lightworker. However, the rules of incarnation on Earth require a kind of amnesia. we do not consciously remember those higher realms we were accustomed to in previous lives. Instead, we are more likely to feel like aliens who do not fit into a world based primarily on greed and fear. In these times of change, a fundamental part of being an incarnated lightworker is mastering life's challenges, finding inner peace and purpose in a world full of chaos and confusion. In doing so, we show the way to those who wish to discover what makes us so capable of handling the ups and downs of modern life. Today, it is imperative to be a lightworker, an urgent need to fill the roles we planned before we even came into the world. We are here not only to raise our frequency of consciousness like everyone else, but to be a vanguard of the emerging new reality, to be pioneers paving the way for a completely new way of seeing things. To do this, we must pay attention to our spiritual practices. Whatever method we choose, we must practice that path of elevation daily. In doing so, we continue to immerse ourselves in distinctly higher realms of consciousness and, as revealed by David Hawkins' research, can potentially influence millions of people who desperately need inspiration in these difficult times. Saint Germain, what are you fighting? Greetings, dear ones. What an incredible world you live in. And yet many of you are discovering that things seem to be against you, not in your favor. Regardless of the difficulties you are facing right now, whether financial, social, family-related, personal, or work-related, you may feel that nothing you do is good enough or worth the effort. Many, on a global scale, perceive the weight of the world's ills, in terms of the enormous crisis affecting segments of humanity across the globe, as an indication that the world is at war with itself and that those responsible seem to be winning. The reality of a world at war with itself, whether on the home front, internationally, or globally, contrasts with the reality that lightworkers, healers, and sensitives are heralding, and many people cannot reconcile the two realities at all. If the world is engulfed in violence and death, how can it ascend to love and light? Furthermore, since those promoting peace on earth do so without any religious affiliation, how can those who believe in the Word of God through the Bible and the death of Jesus Christ relate to those who, in their eyes, are pagans, witches, and emissaries of the devil himself? Realities are forms of consciousness and receive energy and form from the investment of belief by those who observe them. Essentially, every single person on earth creates their own reality through their thoughts, actions, words, deeds, and belief systems. By creating their own reality, they create their own world, and therefore the world in which they find themselves living, which is their own creation, can be, and will be, very different from the world in which another person has invested their beliefs and energies and now lives. In the energy of duality, one world may seem better or more right than another. In the energy of the Creator, however, no two worlds are right or wrong. They simply exist. If your world is at war with the larger world, then perhaps that is as it should be, because the reality of war and violence against one's fellow beings does not vibrate in unity, and is therefore an illusion of duality. However, do not wage your own war against the perpetrators, nor try to make your world conform to theirs. Rather, dedicate your time to sending love, light, and the violet flame to the innocent of the world who are trapped in a reality they have no interest in but from which they cannot escape. Send your love, light, and violet flame to Mother Earth, who hungers for love and will continue to cleanse those areas of her planet corrupted and polluted by human ego, greed, and contempt. Also continue to visualize the advent of ascension on Earth and work diligently on your own vibrations, ensuring that your reality is made of unconditional love, tolerance, acceptance, and abundance. I am yours in the fifth dimension, Saint Germain. Intuitive astrology, Uranus in Gemini. Uranus, the planet of awakening and change, enters Gemini on July 7, 2025, unlocking a new 7-year cycle. Uranus is known for its unpredictable energy and its ability to bring rapid, sudden changes into our lives. Uranus shakes things up and rocks our foundations, pushing us to change and turn our lives around. Uranus can bring surprises, but all this unpredictable energy, all this instability it evokes, ultimately inspires us to open our minds, broaden our vision, and live more authentically. In its essence, Uranus helps us break free from habits and patterns that prevent us from expressing our truth and knowing ourselves. Uranus wants us to deviate from the status quo and embrace our independent spirit. Its energy encourages us to be true to ourselves, no matter how strange or quirky we might think we are. Uranus is also connected to our higher mind, technology, and everything. Futuristic. Uranus wants to push us forward and does not want us to look back. It wants us to focus on the future and get excited about the possibilities it might offer us. Uranus is considered the higher octave of Mercury, so it helps expand our thought processes and pushes us to think outside the box. This effect will be even more pronounced with Uranus entering Gemini, a sign naturally ruled by Mercury. Essentially, we will receive strong waves of energy that will change how we communicate, express ourselves, and think. We may have genius insights, radically new ideas, or a drastic shift in perspective. By the time Uranus finishes its transit through Gemini in 2033, we can surely all look back and see how much our minds have evolved, changed, and grown. Let's explore this special transit further and what you can expect. Timeline of Uranus in Gemini, July 7th, 2025. Uranus enters Gemini September 6th, 2025. Uranus goes retrograde November 7th, 2025. Uranus returns to Taurus April 26th and 27th, 2026. Uranus enters Gemini August 4th, 2032. Uranus enters Cancer December 13th, 2032. Uranus re-enters Gemini May 23rd, 2033. Uranus enters Cancer. Uranus will enter Gemini on July 7th, where it will remain until November 7th, 2025, when it returns to Taurus. Uranus will then return to Gemini in May 2026, where it will stay until 2033. This means that in 2025 we will only get a preview of what this energy will bring. We will have to wait until May 2026 before we can truly begin working with the energy of this new ingress. Uranus tends to act quickly and suddenly, so it is very likely that something significant could happen in July 2025 or May 2026, helping to propel us into this new energy. Watch for sudden changes, unexpected events, or twists and turns you did not anticipate. While some of us will feel Uranus's influence intensely, for others the impact may be more subtle. On a subtler level, Uranus's entry into Gemini could bring a new way of thinking that starts to take root, a strange dream you cannot shake, or a desire to make a change, even if you do not yet know exactly what form it will take. Uranus can also bring an innovative, out-of-the-box thinker into your life, or you might feel the need to break free from or break up with something in your life. Gemini rules our hands, so we may also feel the need to be creative or make something with our hands. When Uranus's energy is strong, breakdowns or arguments can occur. The same goes for accidents due to carelessness and unexpected gains or losses. Predictions for Uranus in Gemini. While we can try to predict what Uranus in Gemini will bring, we must remember that Uranus is largely unpredictable. However, by looking at past cycles of Uranus in Gemini, here is what we might notice. New ways of connecting and communicating with each other, changes in the social media, publishing, and press sectors, new ways of publishing content and receiving news, changes in the telecommunications, internet, and cable/TV provider industries, upheaval in the travel/transportation sector, especially domestic travel, new ways of thinking, increase in sectarian/radical mindsets, the feeling that time is moving, faster advances in technology and artificial intelligence, also supported by Pluto in Aquarius, communication issues leading to unpredictable behavior, especially among countries and on the world stage, protests for freedom of speech/for demanding more freedom, removing people from your life due to their beliefs/ways of thinking, desire for more freedom in how we express ourselves, changes in how we express ourselves, e.g., through fashion, hairstyles, etc. Increased creativity and desire to create things with our hands. Gemini rules our hands. Throat chakra awakenings. Uranus brings awakenings. The last time Uranus was in Gemini was between 1941 and 1949. If you were alive during that time, you can think back to the themes that marked you to find clues about how Uranus might guide you toward awakening. If you were born during this period, you are now experiencing your Uranus return. This is a time when Uranus's teachings fully manifest and things crystallize for you regarding your life and whether you have lived authentically. If you are currently 42 years old, you are halfway through your Uranus return and will have your Uranus opposition. Uranus is the planet of awakenings, So it is important to return to this idea for our spiritual progress. Uranus shakes us to awaken us and push us to live in a dimension of greater truth, freedom, and soul expression. Whatever lesson Uranus brings, it is intended to help us reach a new level in our evolution. Spiritual awakenings can be difficult and sometimes involve a deep period of uncertainty. We may no longer feel sure of anything. We may struggle to know what to believe, and the voices of the outside world may become unreliable. If you find yourself in this place, know that it is an invitation to turn inward. Know that it is an invitation to strengthen yourself from the inside out, so you can tune into your true self. As the great philosophers would say, know thyself. When dealing with Uranus's strong energy, it is advisable to go with the flow, release control, and try not to plan. Uranus does not seek conformity. It desires freedom and spontaneity. To some extent, we have no control over what Uranus will bring or where it will lead us. Allowing ourselves to release control, go with the current, and listen to our inner voice will all be excellent ways to navigate the awakening path that Uranus may set us upon. Journal prompts for Uranus in Gemini. Before delving into the work of Uranus in Gemini, it might be helpful to look back and reflect on Uranus in Taurus, which began in 2018. Since Uranus entered Taurus, how have you been guided to change? Do the themes discussed in the article resonate with you? Here are some journal prompts related to Uranus in Gemini. 1. Do I feel fully free and comfortable expressing myself? Write a short paragraph with your answer at the start of Uranus in Gemini, and again at the end to see how things have evolved. 2. Uranus does not like control, but if you could revolutionize and change one thing in your life, what would it be and why? 3. Do you feel your relationship with social media is healthy? Can you identify ways social media negatively affects you? If so, propose solutions to remedy the situation. 4. Change can be difficult. What are 10 tools you can turn to or rely on when you feel uncertain or in the midst of destabilizing change? 5. Are you comfortable with uncertainty, not knowing what the path forward will be or what the outcome will be? Acknowledge any uncertainty you are experiencing, then commit to bringing yourself back to the present moment. What are 10 things you can do to stay present and trust the flow of events? The Ascended Masters, your sacred duty from darkness into light. Decades ago, this earth was raised to a higher vibrational level. This ended the Middle Ages and awakened the desire for light in people's hearts. As this process of connecting with the divine continues, the old system is losing its place in this world. More and more people are beginning to move away from it and openly reject it due to these revelations. It becomes clear who is trusted and which species have been protected on this earth. Non-human beings, capable of inhumanity, have ruled for millennia, determined the destiny of ages, and shaped the misfortunes of humanity. Current and future revelations herald the end of this species, leading humanity from prison to freedom and from darkness into light. This process must be approached with patience and inner serenity. At the same time, it means giving yourself the love you deserve. No more excuses will be accepted. No office nor any person is responsible for your well-being or your discomfort, the success or failure of your life, your happiness or unhappiness. This sacred duty belongs to you alone. This paradigm shift assigns to every individual the responsibility to take full ownership of their life. The victim status of the individual and of humanity ends here. Therefore, the past no longer provides any justification for transformative work that has not taken place. Excuses will no longer be accepted by the karmic guardians. Today, heaven and earth are at your service so that you may reconnect with God and be reborn. You will be asked, the great new world cycle has begun, and you are asked, how do you live your life? How and with whom do you spend your time? What do your thoughts dwell on? What lies, wounded, in your heart? Are you able to establish and respect boundaries? Is saying no as natural to you as saying yes? Are you willing to go to the root of your wounds and heal them at their source? Do you love yourself by unconditionally dedicating time and effort to your healing? Are you ready to leave everything behind and start over? Is your devotion to God authentic, or is it merely a formality, like Sunday church mass? Beloved one, the more healed you are, And the clearer your relationships, the more fulfilling this period of upheaval will be for you. The energy of light is flooding the earth and awaits nothing more than to touch, enrich, heal, and ultimately conquer people's hearts. Opening your consciousness and your heart to this healing process is not just your task, but your sacred duty, to rise from this moment like a phoenix from the ashes and emerge reborn. A new great cycle has begun, and you are part of it for this reason, to heal yourself and complete the cycle. Beloved one, we accompany you in this moment. Rise up and be perfected in the glory of God. The Ascended Masters,